Good morning, everyone. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here where I'm at. We had Snowmageddon 2020, so I've been doing snow blowing and all that kind of stuff. I'm all jealous for those folks that are in tropical areas and warm areas right now. Anyway, there was a question out on the Slack community for some help with lesson 9 2BT Matthews. She asked what was going on. She said she worked herself into a headache. Poor thing. I don't like when people say that they worked themselves to a headache. It's not that deep. So she said she types in a color and she presses the button. There's no background color that shows up. So what I did was I copied her code and I dragged it over here, and sure enough, nothing happens. So let's go ahead, and I'm using Firefox. You can use whatever browser you want to use. One of the best tools for Firefox and other web browsers are these trusty little web tools. So you come down here to go to Web Developer, click Web Console, and if we click this button, we see nothing happens. And that's indicative of our JavaScript not being called. But what I've done is I've gone ahead and made some changes to her code. And now her code actually works. Blue, green, black, and I'll say purple, but it should give me a white because she doesn't have a case statement in it for that. So how do we get from that to this? Green. It's case sensitive. How do we get from this to this? Well, let's look through the web debugger. And we're clicking this button and we're changing stuff. Odds are is that we're not calling our function. One of the cool tools, if you're using Visual Studio Code, like I am here, and I've got her old HTML here, and I've got my changed HTML here. One of the cool things you can do is, in Visual Studio Code, it's something called running a compare. You're going to compare your old code to your new code. How do you do that? You come over here to your view, your Explorer, and you see your two open fields there, your two open files. Click both files by holding down the Shift key. So one's selected right now. Hold down the Shift key and click the file right below it. Right click on both files and you'll have this little context menu pop up and say compare selected, and all this stuff pops up for you. What you're seeing here on the left, if you look up here, on the left is our old HTML file. This is the file, or this is the HTML I got from the stack. On the right over here is the new file, or the new HTML. This is what I've made my changes to it. So let's do some looking here at what I changed. First and foremost, I didn't want to do that. Opening up stuff. Close you and close you. First and foremost, one of the things that I noticed right away is that this particular this exclamation point was missing from her code. Right there, she doesn't have it in there. Right there, I do. The reason why you want to have that in there, because if you don't have that in there, it doesn't know what type of HTML document that the browser should use. That's the first thing. Next thing is if you don't have this meta char set in there, you're going to get this funky little compatibility error that's going to pop up for you, depending on the browser that you're using. So you want to include this meta char set in there. I'm just using UTF-8 because it's just generic one that everybody uses. I'm not going to touch on her CSS because that looks fine. I am going to come down here and I'm going to look at, first and foremost, her calling of her method or this function. So she's calling, or she thinks she's calling get color, and she really isn't, because if you look over to what I have done, you'll notice that I'm using double parentheses after that. And that signifies to HTML, your HTML browser, that get color is a JavaScript function or some kind of function. And you'll notice it pops up there. It says function get color returns a void. If I hover it over here, it says get color any. And it's because of the way you're calling your function. So I'm going to put a couple of parens there. The next thing I'm going to look at is the actual JavaScript. So let's see what we were doing over here with our JavaScript. Let me actually close the Explorer. Control Shift E. There we go. I want all this space here so I can explain. So another one of the things that I did in the script tag is I noticed that there is not an ending script tag. Well, that's not going to execute your JavaScript, so we have to add a ending script tag. Just like that. And then also, and this isn't important in this instance, but you should probably get into the habit of doing it. You want to have a script type. And I'm just going to put it in there. It's in this instance, it's not important, but I mean, there's other scripting languages in there too. So there's that. I'll get rid of this extra. I don't want to do that. I'll get rid of this extra line. And now we're going to look at the way that we're using our JavaScript. So we're using our JavaScript by, on the left hand side, we're calling a function called getColor, but it's not doing anything because all of this logic in here that we want is not enclosed inside of any curly braces, like we've got a curly brace here and here. So we need to take this off of there, this semicolon, and we need to create curly braces. I'm going to take that curly brace down here and put it just outside where the switch curly brace is at. And what that does is it indicates that there's a function there. I'm actually creating and defining a function the right way. The next bit of code that we're going to look at is the next line down. So we're trying to create a variable called pickColor by grabbing the inner HTML of this element called pickColor. So let's go find pickColor. It's up here. Well, we find out that it is an input type of a text box. So any text that goes inside of a text box is not HTML. It's just text. So using an inner HTML on there is not going to work. Now, inner HTML is this right here. This would be inner HTML right there, because you're inside of an HTML block of code. But down here, we don't want to use inner HTML. We want to use value there. And then you can't do this. That's not gonna, it's not gonna, you're you're trying to create a variable and define another variable at the same time. That's just kind of, that won't work for you, I don't think. So what you want to do is you want to get rid of this get color line here and just leave it at its value. Just like that. Now your switch statement, what did I do there? Your switch statement is not quite correct. You've got the right idea here, but you're creating a switch statement to look at the value of this variable called pick color. Well, this value of pick color is text, which means that it has to be enclosed as alphanumeric data in a double quote, like that. And then just for consistency's sake, we're going to make this a capital Y. And then also, what we want to look at here is when we look at our case statement here, you notice this one's in capital C. Now that'll work in VB.NET. It won't work in JavaScript though. So we want to lowercase that case. Let's just take it back over here and do the same thing we did with the other ones and put it in double quotes like that. You'll notice that our code is starting to match up over here, right? Now, anytime you use a default case, a default switch or case statement, basically, you want to do something inside of it. Every switch statement has to have a break to it. And then since you're using a default, let's do something in the default like this. Let's do something in there. So what that's going to do is, if your color is not green, black, blue, or yellow that you've typed into your text box up here, then it's just going to set the body of the background of color of your body to white. What else did we forget here? And for some odd reason, oh, I didn't put that in there. So let's put that exclamation point in there. I'm going to get rid of that space there. Put the char set in there, like we talked about just a second ago. And what's going on here? Href. I must have spaces after something in there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that line there, and that line there, and that line there. These are just empty lines here. Get color. Something's up with that. Div ID. If it's highlighted, that means it's different. There's something different about it. What did I do here? We'll do the same thing here. So now they match. And then our function, it's under the I. And we'll do the same thing there. missing a semicolon, perhaps. Pick color, get element by ID. Well, that should be the same. Var. Maybe it's that right there. Let's move our code over to match. Like that. Uh-oh. I'm trying to get a match here. I don't know why they're not matching. Var pick color document. Oh, that's why. So on the left over here, if you want to use get element by ID, you have to put the document in front of it, like that. And then we want to make sure all of our tags match one another. Put you under there and you're under there. Yep. So far, so good. Let's just get rid of this blank line there. What's up with this? Something's funky in there. Let's see if that does it. Over here, hit that. I don't know what's up with that. Okay, so now let's get rid of that. Rid of that. They match. 1, 2. 1, 2. Should line up with the script tag. Yep. Let's do the same thing with the body tag and the HTML tag. Now I noticed that your HTML tag and your body tag have extra spaces at the end of the tag. You want to get rid of that. Ooh, like that. And for some odd reason, I think what it's doing, it's throwing some extra characters in there for some odd reason. And then lastly, we're missing a tag there. I don't know why that head tag is like that. HTML. Oh. That's why that's missing there. There we go. I don't know what's up, but for some odd reason, the stack is doing some funky stuff to this, to these tags or something. I don't know why it's doing it. Those two tags match one another. Okay. It's like it's throwing extra lines or something in there. There we go. Now put a line break in there, and I'll put a line break in there, and they match. So now our code matches one another. Let me save all. And now, if I reload this, it should work for each other. Green. Yep. Let me hide this. Blue. This is the old one, and this is the new one. Yellow. Yellow. So that's how you do that. And another thing too that you can do, if you get stuck with your, if you get stuck and your JavaScript isn't working, just do this. Throw an alert in there. And that will tell you whether or not you are actually hitting your JavaScript. Because if you're not, that won't pop up. Did I change the right one here? Which one did I change? Oh no, okay, yeah. I have to reload my JavaScript. See that? You can do that anywhere you want to. So what most people do at the beginning of their function, they'll say calling function, and then they'll say something like set pick color. And if you don't see that happen, it means that line of code above it did not execute. See that? So if I broke this code here, like that, and I save it, oh, let me really break it here. Like something like that. Boom. And reload, and that shouldn't be working like that. Let me just throw some stuff in there. Reload that, and boom. See, so now it's not wanting to execute my code here. And if I come to the web console, it says, hey, got some errors going on there. But if I come up here and I use node value, well, that's actually valid, so I'll say value. And if I say string, I don't know if that's gonna work. Try val. I'm trying to make it blow up so you can see what's going on. So let's do like we were doing before. Now if I reload this, it just says calling function. It's not doing my second alert. So that lets you know that my error is happening between these two on this line of code. And it alerts me I have something I have to change and correct. Now if I reload it, it pops back up for me. There's a name for that. I can't remember what the name of that is. Carpet bombing. It's called carpet bombing. When you want to have your code just start texting you, or alerting you all the time that you're doing some stuff. Put that back in there too. So that's a way that you can check your code. If you get along and you're stuck or whatever, copy your old code, put it into a file, copy your new current code, put it into a file, and see what the differences are and see if that works. I've already posted the solution for you. Hope this helps, and I'll post this video out there for you too. Peace.